What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio, transmitting from the future-free state of Greater Idaho, where I'm doing half of the Trump dance. I'm still fucked up. I am the one-armed madman. And back with us, we've got the great Nolan 5150. Montana, you know the thing.
Yeah,
you know the thing. I can't believe I just dropped a Biden on you right there. Yeah. You know the thing.
Tripping him out of the pressure.
Oh my goodness. We just had a bit of a scare earlier. Me and Dan were going over some of these JFK files. And in one of the files it was like, Senator Biden, you are a traitor.
Huh.
And then it said John F. Kennedy underneath, and we're like, holy fuck. He didn't even get into office until JFK was dead. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And then we noticed that there was a junior next to the JFK. So we're both retarded.
Huh.
It was his son that said it. But he was not wrong. Like, he was right. Biden, absolutely a traitor. And it's just getting more and more clear. So,
rest in peace, Joe Biden.
Yeah, like normally on my fucking Tuesdays, I put together, I produce a show, and then I go have dinner, and then I go get on X, and I go, holy shit, the entire fucking, everything's different now, and that's all old news. It's so fucking hard to run a show, like a weekly show right now, because, like, how can you actually pick out what the most important shit is to cover in an hour? It's just almost impossible to do. So we were granted this week, though, with a truly blessed day. I forgot that today was JFK file day, so I produced an unnecessary episode, and now he drops the JFK files an hour before the show starts. It's like, God damn it, now I got to do a completely new fucking show. What are we doing here? Alex is the man. He's got it set up great where he just does 4 hours a day, and we'll figure it out, We'll fucking figure it out. Like, there's always something. Hey, ran out of something to say? Whatever. Just open up X and see what's going on and let Alex fucking scream and yell about that. I watched him. I don't watch Alex and I don't watch Tim Dillon as much as I used to because I don't want to be influenced because I'm such a big fan and I think they're so good at what they do. Like, I don't want to do what they do. And man, turn on Alex is just like, fuck. It doesn't matter if I watch him. I can't do what he does anyways. He's just so good, like he knows everything. His memory is far better than mine. I thought I had a good memory until I started doing the podcast. I used to have a good memory. And then like now that we do the podcast, it's like, no, my memory is real bad, real fucking bad. And I just didn't really realize it until like I actually had to utilize it. And now, I still remember tons of shit from before the accident, but anything around that time and, it's all kind of just jumbled in a mess. So, anyways. I kind of wanted to play this clip. I have another one of Roger Stone saying the exact same thing, and I was going to clip it and put it in here, but I don't really think we need to do that. Just know that they're saying the exact same thing. So this was this is an old clip. This is from like 2 years ago, even, maybe even more. So here's Judge Knapp talking about the JFK file.
In my last conversation with President Trump in the White House, he called me a lot. And this is after January 6th, so it's 2 weeks before, or a week before he's leaving office. He wanted to run past me the names of people he was going to pardon and sentences he was going to commute. He wanted my opinion on them. Some of them I knew. I said, how you doing? He said, not too well. And he went off into a tangent about what he thought happened with the election. I said, you made a promise to the public many times and to me privately that you haven't kept. What? I'll take care of it right now. I said, you promised you would release the records of the JFK assassination. He said to me, Judge, if they showed you what they showed me, you wouldn't have released it either. And I said, who's they and what did they show you? And then he said, Judge, someday when we're on the phone, and then he raised his voice, and there aren't 15 people listening to the phone call, back to a normal voice, I'll tell you.
What a savage.
Oh, my God.
I mean, this makes it sound even worse. Who are they? Probably somebody in the intelligence community. What did they show him? JFK's brains blown out?
This is it. It was said by one person that after the Kennedy assassination, there has been no president. They have only been factotums of the system. since then.
Yeah.
And it may well be the most decisive event in modern American history.
Right.
I agree with Jeffrey Sachs completely on that. Like, even up to Trump's first term, I would include Trump's first term. He was a figurehead. He had absolutely no real power. He couldn't do any of the shit that he really wanted to do. I think that he's right. Like, this is the first real president we've had in our lifetimes, you know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. and first term, like you said, he was getting in. He didn't know the game.
He didn't think he was trying to win.
I don't think
he didn't prepare to win. I heard him say it recently where they were, or somebody around him said that, like, they weren't expecting on winning. So once they won, it was like, oh shit, what do we do now?
Yeah. That sounds like, sounds like it
kind
checks
of
out.
Understandable, right?
Yeah,
So my
yeah.
thought is that Trump absolutely said that to Judge Knapp. I don't believe for a second, not a sliver of me believes that Judge Knapp is lying about that. But was Trump lying to Judge Knapp? That's the real fucking question, right?
Yep.
In the Roger Stone version of that, he brings up Mike Pompeo, who was the head of the CIA at the time. So you know that the CIA was coming in hard on him. And I don't know. Let's listen to Trump. This is him yesterday.
So tomorrow you have the JFK files. What time will they be released? Tomorrow afternoon. Okay.
Have you seen what's in the files? Have you read them?
I've heard about them.
Was there,
Interesting.
What?
It's going to be very interesting.
was there an executive summary supplied to you, Mr. President?
No, I'm not doing summaries. You'll write your own summaries. It's many pages. Is it 80,000 pages? Approximately 80,000 pages. So it's
wild.
It's a lot of stuff. And you'll make your own determination.
From that, that does not sound like what he told Judge Knapp.
No.
Not at all. It was like, yeah, I've heard about it. Like, wait a minute. You told Judge Knapp that you saw something so horrific that you couldn't release it. Now, all of a sudden, it's, you'll hear, I've heard of it. It'll be good. It'll be big. I don't believe for a second that this is the true file. There is
for sure.
80,000 pages.
Yeah.
These people are all old. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I don't know if it's even possible to find out what actually happened. I don't know that even like the highest levels in the CIA, I don't know if they could figure it out, because you know where it's buried? In 50 years of like elevator maintenance logs. That's where it's buried. It's not in the labeled JFK file. It's in the elevator, or it's in the janitorial file. It is somewhere buried so fucking deep that you would have to be one of the people who put it there to know where it was. They were burying this shit forever. According to Ron Paul says that this was a coup. The Kennedy assassination was a coup. When the CIA decided we cannot let a single individual take power of this country, we have to be pulling the levers. So do you think for a second that those guys are going to let us find out what happened? I don't think so. These are all paper documents. They could be buried in a mine somewhere, a mile underground, for all we know.
That was the one big thing I thought. In this day and age, everything's digital, so it could just be on a thumb drive. You know what I mean?
It didn't get digitized.
Back then, everything was physical paper. Or audio recordings, but still,
you got you got the entire file in a room, and you go, okay, scan this, scan that. Don't scan that. That goes in the janitor pile.
Or it gets shredded or burned.
Or it gets shredded.
Odds are it doesn't exist.
I think they kept it. I think they kept it because these are sick psychopaths and they like trophies. You know what I mean?
Well,
like they want some record of it because they want somebody to know what they did someday.
In that case,
it's like James Bond villains don't just rant and rave about their crimes on movies for entertainment value. Like, this is what these people do.
Yeah. In that case, I would put my money on it's in the vault on Epstein's Island.
Yeah, might as well be, right? And, I think that there is, we'll probably get a little bit of red meat because they're going to want to throw us enough to kind of keep us satiated and not really give us enough to. So I think we're going to get some Russian propaganda out of this. Oh, Russia.
Very possibly.
It's a great time for Russian propaganda, right? To get some fear mongering going against Russia. So I could see that.
And
one
a whole
thing we're
lot
not
of white
going to find
noise.
out about. Yeah, we are not going to find out about Israel and nuclear weapons. That's not going to be in there. No fucking way. And maybe we'll find out about the mob. You know, the mob's gone. Everybody's dead. There's no reason that you can't throw the mob under the bus at this point. But we're not going to find out about Jolly West. We're not going to find out if he actually did go into Jack Ruby's cell and give him LSD and make him go fucking crazy right after he shot Lee Harvey Oswald. We're not going to find that out. You know.
Nope.
There was some interesting things and I don't even know what to trust at this point. I was just I typed in JFK file on X and I just started scrolling and I found something that has a bunch of redactions. This is supposed to be unredacted. I don't know if this is real or not. This could be some random person. I don't know who the fuck these people are, you know? Like they could have just thrown something up they found on the internet for all I know. So maybe it's redacted, maybe it's not. I don't really know. What else do we have? Grok. Here's Grok. As Grok, I've accessed the JFK files released on today. The 80,000 pages, including 2,400 new FBI records, including 2,400 new FBI records. So is that all the new stuff that we got was 2,400 FBI records? And what is that? Is that pages? Is that files? What the fuck are we talking about here?
Yeah.
And add context, affirm Lee Harvey Oswald as the lone gunman, per historians and news like New York Times and AP, which we should all be trusting with our lives, no doubt. No major revelations are expected from this declassification ordered by Trump. And I think that's probably right. But did the AI actually go through it? I don't know. Does it know what to look for? I don't know. I don't know enough about this case to go through these files. It's not, a lot of it's going to mean nothing to me. We got to wait for people who know this shit, like, you know, Roger Stone, Alex Jones. Dark Journalist. I'm going to watch his show tonight. I know he's going to be on doing the JFK file because he's been on the JFK file for fucking years. But like, I don't know. It's hard for me to say anything here. A lot of the files were released in 1992. There's another one. Here's one.
Yeah. Odds are it's not going to be any big revelations. Just
Epstein
just a
2.0.
bunch of scattered little fringe details right around everything everybody already kind of knows or believes. And I thought this too with you know, I mean, you can agree, I'm sure, that the United States government has a tight lid on all their secrets and jars and stuff, right? So
we're not a surveillance state.
any you know, I'd say probably anything that was big or was found or any crazy information probably has already kind of been leaked. And then, like I said, this is just going to be like tiny little details around it.
We can barely get body cam video from our local police departments. How the fuck do we expect to get the JFK file from the CIA? I mean, really?
Yeah,
when you think about it in those terms, right? It's like you can get stonewalled by some local fucking city councilor who was appointed because, you know, her fucking predecessor died. Like, nobody even knows who this person is, but they'll tell you to go fuck yourself after cops beat the shit out of you, you know, for the people, obviously. You know, I don't know.
Quit resisting.
Yeah. Here's a great one. Here's a great tweet. I loved this one. Dave Rubin, one of my favorites. You know I love Dave Rubin. JFK files are out. Remember, if they don't confirm what you want them to confirm, it's because of a crazy conspiracy that you and you alone will solve. What a fucking asshole. Ugh, good luck, it says at the bottom. Why don't you go back to your little fucking socialist circles and go have sex with Harry Sisson or something and let the right-wingers discuss right-wing politics, you fucking liberal piece of shit. Stay the fuck out of our circles. I'm not even a right-winger, but I feel like he's invading my circles. Fuck that guy. He's a disease. Him, fucking, who are the other ones that I talk about a lot? He's one of the worst, though. He's just a fucking liberal. He's a liberal. Tim Pool, another one, a fucking liberal. All you're doing is getting into right-wing circles and poisoning it with your liberal fucking bullshit. Get the fuck out. Go back to your socialist skate park, you little fucking bald faggot. I don't like Tim Pool. Sorry. I know you like him.
I listen to him. I think he's
he provides a valuable service. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of.
I think it's an interesting perspective. I am very kind of suspicious of what he says and stuff. And I find myself a lot of the times these days feeling like he's just saying what he knows to say to get views. And then, man, I hate. He's really good. Like he's talked about a lot about his time as getting donations, probably for some liberal nonprofit. You know what I mean? He's talked about that a lot. But he's very good at his his ad stuff, and that makes me super suspicious because somebody that's intelligent enough to do that, be good at that, then you got to question, okay, well, what's your real intention here? So, I mean,
there's no money in podcasting. There's your first hint. Why is somebody giving me $100,000 a week for a 1-hour podcast?
Yeah.
You think I'm not that fucking stupid. We have a shitty podcast. Like, this guy has a big podcast. He knows they don't make any money. There's no money in podcasts. A couple people make money. That's it, And I don't know. It just, their liberal garbage is just sitting right underneath the surface. It's still just there.
For sure.
And they can't divorce themselves from it. Unions and then he's just got that big fucking circumcised Israeli cock deep down his fucking gullet, and he just can't stop choking on that fucking thing. And that's where I draw the line. Yep.
Yeah.
No more. Sorry, guys. No more Israeli bullshit for me. Are you ready for a blast from the past? Go back to, Doge actually has existed for a while now. And funnily enough, Obama had his own fucking Doge program. Look at that.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions.
Really?
And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in
Your party doesn't
programs
seem to
that
know that.
a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't
It should
benefit
be easy.
anybody.
But it's not.
Waste
because
we
of you.
should be getting rid of, even if we didn't have a deficit. Sure, some of these cuts aren't that big, but no amount of waste is acceptable. Not when it's your money. Not at a time when so many Americans
Not
are
when
already
it's your
cutting
money.
back.
No waste.
Just
Not
as
when it's your
families
money.
are living within their means, government should too. Did you know the federal government pays for a website devoted to a folk music ensemble
Oh,
made up
no.
of forest rangers? They're called the Fiddlin' Foresters.
They were actually wholesome back then with their.
I'll put their music on
with
my
their
iPod,
bullshit.
but I'm not paying for their website. And there are hundreds of similar sites that we should consolidate or just get rid of. By the way, you're not only paying for websites no one needs, you're paying for thousands of buildings all across the country no one uses. For the last decade, the
weren't using
government's
them
owned a
back then.
massive
It didn't
and
even take
completely
COVID.
empty warehouse in the middle of Brooklyn, for example. Now, the government hadn't been able to sell this building and others like it because of red tape
They're
and
asking too
Washington
much.
politics that held things up for years. But we're finally cutting through all that
Oh,
and plan
you
to
guys
get
did a
rid of
great
these
job.
buildings in the months ahead.
We still own.
We
all
need to
those
step
buildings.
up our game. We need to go after every dime. We need to make government work for you.
We need to make government work for you, Nolan. You know how we're going to do that? For the audience here that doesn't know, our sound is awful. Nolan can barely hear a goddamn thing I'm saying, let alone what Obama's saying. So I send him all the videos beforehand so he can prime himself and know what they're going to say. This is a rare circumstance where this is part one of a 3-parter. And I couldn't send you the other 2 because it's just too great. It's too fucking great. It's just too great. Here we go.
We need to make government work for you. That's why, starting today, I've asked the Vice
Oh, shit.
President to lead a renewed effort to hunt down misspent tax dollars in every agency and department of this government. We're calling it the Campaign to Cut Waste. And I know Joe's the right man to lead it.
Joe's the
'Cause
right
nobody
man
messes
to
with
lead
Joe.
it. Nobody messes with Joe, Nolan. Joe's the right man to lead it. Nobody messes with Joe. Oh, my God. So
Wow.
Biden was the head of Doge. And what did he do? He set himself up with his fucking family, and then he preemptively pardoned all of them with an auto pen.
I mean, sounds pretty par for the course for this.
Yeah, sounds like a fucking Biden thing. I really screwed that one up. I was going to ask you who you thought he was going to assigned to the task
shit.
force. But I messed
Yeah,
it
that
up.
would've been good.
I hit it at the wrong time. Because, Joe's the fucking guy. And here's Joe.
There's a new standard by which the government is going to function from this point on.
Oh, really?
The American people are entitled to transparency.
Oh.
Look, a lot of this depends on new, sophisticated methods, but it also, we know, depends on relentless focus on making this a priority. Focus that can't be delegated. We're holding ourselves accountable, and we're deeply committed and focused on making government function better. We're not just eliminating fraud and waste. We hope to be instilling an entire new culture that not only our administration, but every succeeding administration will in fact pursue. We're going to give you the government you expect and deserve.
Oh my God. That
That shit's creepy, dude, man. Like, hearing
almost
that.
nothing you can say.
Yeah, it doesn't sound real. Like, knowing what we know now, experiencing Obama's, especially the end of his second term and everything, and Biden, if you even want to call it a Biden term, because he was definitely not at the reins. But hearing that shit is just like so creepy. It's so bizarre.
It's so infuriating. It's just unbelievable. It really is. Like how quickly the tables have turned. You know what I mean? And like they're the party of the people, party of the working class. Now they're the party of big banks and the corporate press and censorship. And it's like, how the fuck can one guy just pull the masks off of all of you? Because you know damn well they didn't actually believe any of that bullshit they were spouting. Otherwise, Biden would have governed like an actual fucking president instead of just ripping everybody off and printing trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that they weren't aware of the deficit problems. They sure were aware of it back then.
Yeah. And Joe's still, I mean, do you know what year that was from?
That looked like his first term. It looked like Obama looked young still. He did not look like an old man. I'm thinking that was early in his first term.
Okay. Because Biden definitely sounds a little more there, which is
but he still looks like a
creepiest
sleazy
part.
used car salesman.
Yeah,
it's
for
like,
sure.
hey, we've got a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse, and who are we going to put in charge? The sleazy used car salesman. Like you just look at that guy. He had a comb over. It's just like, no, this guy's
you can hear it.
Any money? He's going to steal everything from you. Yeah,
you can hear it in his voice. Like just hearing Biden in that clip, I don't trust him. The scariest part is Obama sounds really good. He sounds really good. He says all the right shit, and it just pisses me the fuck off because that's just the United States government, right?
He's a fucking liar.
You just gotta sound good. You gotta say the right shit, and then you just try to fill your pockets, and then you get out, then you get to go shake hands.
Yep. I bet you we still own 90% of those buildings, plus plenty more empty ones. They were empty before COVID.
Yeah.
And they're just now having to go back to work. It's fucking crazy. Like my mom works for the Idaho Supreme Court, and she has to go back to work, and she's really hates it, and I have to tell her, hey, sorry, but just because you do your job at home does not mean that your coworkers do. And I'm not going to let you work from home if it means that they can work from home. I think you all have to go back. That's just how it's got to be. I don't care if you're more productive at home. As a whole, you're not. And it's just how it is. And it's how it's going to be. And if there's one thing that you can appreciate about Chuck Schumer is he's going to tell you how it is. Remember Chuck Schumer telling you, hey, if you go against the intelligence agencies, they've got 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you. Well, here he is on the View, America's talk show, the Cackling Hens, and he's going to assure Americans that like their money's being spent. Maybe, probably not. Let's listen.
And you know what their attitude is? I made my money all by myself. How dare your government take my money from me? I don't want to pay taxes. Or I built my company with my bare hands. How dare your government tell me how I should treat my customers, the land and water that I own, or my employees? They hate government. Government's a barrier to people. the barrier to stop them from doing things. They want to destroy it. We are not letting them do it, and we're united.
Okay, good.
Holy shit. That motherfucker who looks like the greediest fucking Jew on planet Earth is sitting up there mocking people like us for not wanting him to steal our fucking money and enrich his fucking buddies and send it off to Israel. That's fucking crazy. Can you fucking believe that guy? The Jewiest fucking shiesty Jew in fucking the Senate. Oh, you right, man. He's literally just going, shekels, shekels, shekels. Ooh, can I have a couple of those coins? How many coins do you have over there, Nolan? Do you have any extra coins? I could really use some of your coins this week. I'm running low on coins over here. How you guys doing over at the bike shop? Do you guys have any coins? Maybe I can come and sweep the floor and see if anybody dropped any.
Dude, I was waiting. I was going to say the Jewiest Jew.
Sorry.
No,
low-hanging
that's
fruit.
good. No, it was totally, it was right there. It was right there. I was
It was
just,
worth it.
And
It was
then I
worth
heard
it.
you go, and I was like, no, he's gonna take it. But man, that was a good Jew impersonation though too.
Yeah, I've never done the greedy Jew impression on the podcast, but I think it was a success. I think I'll revisit that one from time to time. I need to revisit the stoner guy from time to time too, but I always forget about him. He's a lot of fun. What time? Oh, we're still doing good on time. This is good. We're motoring through.
Hey, I got a quick side note for you though. I think I'm about 3 weeks cigarette free.
Nice. I saw you hammering those fucking pouches during that last
Yeah, dude.
video.
Yeah,
You got a
dude.
few of them in there.
I'm rocking these bad boys.
Nice. Are they any good? I haven't tried one of those before.
I like these. I've tried the Zens probably a handful of times in the past, and I don't know what it is, but they always fucked up my stomach. And so
does it taste like anything, or does it taste like fucking dip, or what?
Well, this is these are spearmint, and I actually I don't know. I was getting the wintergreen. I must have just gave me the wrong one, but I don't know. They just taste like mint straight up. It tastes like mint gum basically, and
Nice.
I don't know. It definitely gives me my nicotine fix. There has been quite a few times
Being off
where
the cigarettes is great. Cigarettes are awful.
yeah, man, I know. I hated getting back on them. But it's always the way it goes when some shit comes down, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I need something. but
Yeah.
but I definitely did not plan on like smoking them consistently as long as I have. I got off them for a while there, and then fucking shit happens,
Back
and
to
I'm
the
like, fuck it.
races.
Yeah, but I think
I got into vaping really early, like probably 2010.
right on it. I thought about my main motivation for wanting to quit smoking is the effect that has on my lungs, because I really want to get back into mountain biking. I want to start running again and shit, and it just makes it a lot harder. You know what I mean? Once you're like active like that, and then you want to rip a dart from time to time, that's one thing. But trying to like come off the bench fresh off of like 2 years of smoking like a pack a day, it makes it a lot more difficult. And I'm just getting to the point where like I inhale, and I can like take a full deep breath. There's not some fucking annoying wheeze at the end or any bullshit. And
Yeah,
so
I know the wheeze.
I don't know.
So when I got hurt, they put me in the hospital. I just had to go to the ER and do that thing, and they gave me a shot of fentanyl. And like for some reason, it churned my lungs up. Like I took in fucking Mucinex or something. Like I was instantly like hacking up just tar, just black fucking tar, out of my lungs. And you look at it, you just go, oh God, I gotta quit this shit. But
Yeah,
as you said,
and
it's not easy. I'm used to smoking is the problem, and now I'm used to having this thing in my fucking hand all the time.
Yep.
Which is
That's
weird,
one of that's one of the big things to get over is just the like physical activity. I have been.
They make these smokeless things now that are like it's like a wooden.
Oh yeah,
tube,
I've heard of those.
and then
yeah.
you put like flavored things in it. I've thought about that, but I don't know. I do enjoy
maybe-
nicotine. It helps me shit.
Dude, I mean, and that was my big thing. I thought about vaping, but like I said, with my main goal with quitting smoking was the effect it has on my lungs. I'm like, well, then I'm just like, I'm just getting into another like habitual smoking thing, one that I would be able to do a lot more frequently than
I wouldn't go to
cigarettes.
it if you've already kicked the smoking part of it. Just don't even worry about it. Like it doesn't seem to affect my lungs at all. But again, like your lungs are made for oxygen, not whatever the fuck's in this shit. So I wouldn't put it in you. If like you've already kicked the hard part, there's no reason to go to it now.
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, I'm like I said, this is getting me the nicotine fix, and that's really all I want.
Yeah. As long as it's doing the fucking job, right?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to skip Ezra Klein for time purposes, and we're going to move on to the White House briefing. You know what's interesting? They are now taking applications for private media in the White House briefing room. So, Nolan, we could get you a press pass.
Oh, shit. What?
Oh.
Sure. I have two questions for you. One on the flights, but first on the president's post overnight, saying that the pardons that were issued by President Biden preemptively to members of the January 6th committee, that they're now null and void. Have attorneys here at the White House told President Trump that he has the legal authority to undo a pardon simply because it was signed by auto pen, as he said?
The president was begging the question that I think a lot of journalists in this room should be asking about whether or not the former president of the United States, who I think we can all finally agree was cognitively impaired. I know it took people some time to finally admit that, but we all know that to be true, as evidenced by his disastrous debate performance against President Trump during the campaign. I digress on that. But the president was raising the point that did the president even know about these pardons? Was his legal signature used without his consent or knowledge? And that's not just the president or me raising those questions, Caitlin. According to the New York Post, there are Biden officials from the previous White House who raised those questions and wondered if the president was even consulted about his legally binding signature being signed onto documents. And so I think it's a question that everybody in this room should be looking into, because certainly that would propose perhaps criminal or illegal behavior if staff members were signing the President of the United States autograph without his consent.
Biden is on the record talking about issuing preemptive pardons to these people.
But was he aware of his signature being used on every single pardon? That's a question you should ask the Biden White House.
Is there any evidence on that he wasn't aware of it?
You're a reporter. You should find out.
Ooh. That's when you should have the Dr. Dre, the glasses, the joint comes in. Yeah. You know, I'm not a great editor. I would. That deserved one of those. Caitlin Collins is a snide, condescending cunt. Just a horrible fucking cunt. Just the way she looks. She like looks down at you, and it just.
Was that the reporter?
Yeah. She's a snide, condescending cunt. She has no business in her fucking job. She makes like $25 million a year to do this bullshit. Nobody fucking watches her. Nobody likes her. Nobody's a fan of hers. Nobody can stand her. She's a fucking cunt. She's been like, Elon made a fool out of her. Trump's made a fool out of her. And now the press secretary makes a fool out of her. And the whole time, like, the press secretary's talking, you can see her like, oh, I've got a gotcha ready. Oh, is there any evidence of that? You're a reporter. Go look for it. That was fucking
That was great,
perfect.
man. That was fucking great.
Yeah, I like this press secretary. I think she's hot, and I think she's fucking on it.
It always cracks me up, man, in situations like that where two people are trying to speak and act professionally, but still just sit there and be like, fuck you stupid bitch.
Yeah, they fucking hate each other. You know that would be a fucking cat fight behind doors.
Oh, yeah.
Like, boy. Yeah. There's like times when you know that it's like one of those deals where it's like, hey, I'm going to fucking hit you on this, but don't, it's all good. Under the table type of shit where it's like, yeah, I'm going to give you shit on this, but you can give me shit on that. And we'll kind of just, work together on this. But there is none of that going on there. I can promise you that. I thought it was interesting when she was like, we can all finally admit that he was cognitively impaired, and nobody said anything. You could imagine if this was during, the presidency, if she would have said that in a room with the same group of people, you would have got snides. You would have gotten cackling. You would have gotten, sighs and just like, like when somebody tells an offensive joke, you know, you would get that thing out of the audience. It's like, shut up, laugh or don't fucking do that, whatever that thing is, cheering for the right. Oh, you said the right thing. I hate that shit. Speaking about saying the right thing, Gavin Newsom, man, he's this guy is one evil cocksucker. I'll tell you what, he's on the move. He's got a podcast.
He's making moves.
Making moves. He's talking to Bannon. He's talking to Charlie Kirk, and he decided to bring on our old vice presidential nominee Tim Walz onto the show. And I think this is like his third podcast, and he is clearly making an attempt to shift to the center. And you can see that throughout this interview, and you can see where he recognizes that Walz needs to shut up. It's like, hey man, we're not doing that thing anymore. That was last term. That didn't work for us. We're doing this thing now. That's what he's trying to convey to this guy. Like, hey, this is the thing we're doing now. So stop whatever that you gay thing is. Like, just do the real thing now. And he just does. Walz doesn't get it. And you know, he told him before the show, like, hey, this is why you're coming on. This is what we're doing. You're going around the country talking to right wingers, and we're going to have to shift to the middle. So you're going to need to play ball, and we're going to fucking flesh this thing out on air. You know, he got that speech. You know, he got it multiple times. He got it from Gavin. He got it from his handler. He got it from Gavin's handler. Like, they all told him what the fucking game plan is here. And he's so fucking stupid, he just can't get it.
Bill Clinton said it better than anyone years and years ago after shellacking. Given the choice, I'm paraphrasing, the American people will always support strong and wrong versus weak and right.
Because I saw it for me, and not that I spend much time thinking about this, and it just baffled me how much time they spent trying to attack me that I wasn't like masculine enough in their vision. Yes. Like, I would have never believed this. I saw Fox News did like a couple days because I used a straw. And I'm like, hell, man, what am I? Mouth. How else do you drink a milkshake type of thing? But they focused on it obsessively, which I think, again, is their obsession, their weirdness. We buy their frame on these issues of sexuality, you know, but their whole thing is that they spent all their time, these guys on Fox News, that Walz is gay, he's not masculine, you know, he doesn't coach football the way he should. Or
there's a reason.
What do you think about this? I mean,
it's
this misogyny in here that's happening.
Misogyny. But this notion of masculinity is
misogyny is a term used for women. If there's a woman in the role, she's not strong enough, she's not qualified, she's not smart enough. Those would be things that me and you said about Kamala Harris, not Tim Walz. Tim Walz is claiming that he is a woman.
Deeply part of it. That's one of the, I mean, I think it goes, you know, and you can look at the reasons why we've had this sort of dialectic over the Me Too movement. We've had this dialectic even prior to the Me Too movement. This notion of
he's pivoting.
This notion
I could kick most of their ass. I do think but I don't know if we're going to fall into that place where we want to play. Okay, we challenge you to a WWE fight here type of thing.
But it's a natural reaction. I think it's one of the reasons we're losing so many men. And again, it's multi-ethnic. It's not just white men. We're losing them. We're losing them to these guys online. We're losing them people that I'm bringing on this podcast as well. That's why I brought.
These are bad guys, though.
They're bad.
These are bad guys.
But they exist, and we could deny they exist. They exist. Not only they exist, they persist, and they're actually influencing young kids every single day.
How do we push some of those guys back under a rock?
How do we?
I think we have to first understand what their motivations are. I think we have to understand what they're actually doing. And
you don't think that's racism and misogyny?
I think there's a lot of that, but I don't think it's exclusively that. When you talk to a guy like Steve Bannon, he reminded me a little bit of my grandfather when he talks about working folks and he talks about how we hollowed out the industrial core of this country. I understand that. But we can dismiss the notion of election denialism. We could completely dismiss what he did on January 6th, but I don't think you can dismiss what he's saying. Reminds me a lot of what Bernie Sanders was saying. Reminds me a lot of what Democrats said 20, 30 years ago. I mean, he's arguing against
Musk, right?
He hates Musk. He hates the oligarchy. He totally agrees with you on the concentration of monopolistic powers. He completely dismisses the notion that we should extend the tax cuts for corporations and the very wealthy. He thinks we should lower taxes for the middle class and wants to see increased taxes.
I can't message to misogynists. I can't message that women shouldn't have equal.
But I think if we say people are misogynists, then we're falling prey. We're in that frame.
Here he goes again.
Not everybody that disagrees with us is a misogynist. Even those that But I think this notion of toxicity and masculinity needs to be separated. And I think it's been conflated. And I think we're going to have to work on that a little bit. And I think there is a crisis.
I think some of us scare them. I think I scare them a little bit why they spend so much time on it. No, I'm serious because I can fix a truck. They know I'm not bullshitting on this. Yeah. I'm not putting this in people's grill. I don't know if my identity is not hunting. My identity is not football coaching.
His identity
is not, a beard and a truck. I like all those things.
No, you don't.
But how did we get to this where have they figured it out that the identity piece of this is more important than the actual substance?
No, you are the identity people. We don't give a fuck about your identity. Stop pretending to be a fucking straight football coach. Just be a gay guy. Like, I don't care. Just go be a fucking gay guy and do your gay thing and complain to your gay friends about fucking straight people. Like, I don't care. This idea of like, you see it on the internet all the time. Oh, he said something racist. Go beat the shit out of him and call the cops. It's like, what? No, this is America. You're a fucking nigger. There, I said it. Like, this is America. You can say shit if you want to. You don't get beat up. You don't get thrown out of society. Gavin Newsom's got the right idea. Hey, these people exist and they persist and we have to talk to them. We can't just say, you are bad people and we're not going to talk to you anymore. It's like, okay, they're going to vote right. They're going to vote for fucking, they're not going to vote for you. They're going to vote for somebody else or they're not going to vote at all. So this idea of like, how do we get them back under a rock? It's like, no. How do you compete with them in the marketplace of ideas? That's your question. That's what Gavin Newsom is doing. He's looking at this and going, oh yeah, this podcast thing is the real deal. I need to learn how to communicate. This is how we're going to communicate with our people now. It's no longer going on CNN and doing sound bites. This is it.
Yep.
Like, this is how I'm going to convince people that I wasn't the worst governor in history. Because they're going to sit here, they're going to listen to me talk. He's good at this. Like, he was doing a very good job at what he was trying to do there. Like,
yes, he was.
Gavin Newsom is a dangerous, dangerous man. And I really hope that Tim Walz's career is over because he actually does scare me. Not in the same way that he's kind of thinking. Like, he scares me because he's a fucking commie pretending to be a good old boy.
Uh-huh.
And he's a pedophile. Like, the guy got busted sucking the dick of his student while his wife was hooking up with another student. Like, they both got fired from their jobs at the same time.
Oh, man.
These are not good people.
I didn't hear that.
You're muted.
He was a vice president nominee.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Check. Hello? Check.
Yep, I got you. You're back.
I was saying I didn't hear that whole I don't know. I think I might have heard something about it, but I definitely didn't hear those details. But that shit is scary that was he could have been our vice president of the United States.
Why don't you go and be the governor of your home state in Arkansas, where you grew up and you love everybody? I've made this point before. Because they're too fucking smart to have you in charge. They don't want you around here. Get the fuck out of here. Go to Minnesota and pretend to be a football coach. We don't need you here. We want real people here. We want real football coaches. We don't want some guy who's in here to fucking scout out the locker rooms,
Yeah, it's like good game. See you in the showers.
But the Gavin Newsom thing, this is a at this point I would call him the front runner for 2028's Democratic ticket.
Yeah,
which is just unbelievable because he's literally probably the worst governor in this country.
But that's a problem. That's the problem with the government system, and it's just so fucking easy to make everybody forget. In 4 years, the majority of people are going to forget what just happened, and
it's getting harder now. Though it's getting harder now. When it was the corporate news model, then. Good luck. I hope you are recording, everything on your tape recorder every night so you can pull it up and show it to your buddy when they're over for dinner one night. Like, that's worthless. You talk about this, like you said, let's imagine we're living in corporate news in the 90s. Walz says something. I hear him say it. You don't. I go, hey, this guy's a liar. He said this. Well, prove it. I can't.
Yeah.
I didn't tape it. I can't go back and watch it. It's not on again. You know, it was a memory hold. At this point, you can't do that anymore because I can pull up the exact podcast that I saw the clip on. I can pull it up on X in seconds. And these people are going to have to learn to reconcile receipts, you know?
Yeah.
They're going to have to learn that.
You can, like, with the internet, and like you said, you can pull up a lot of that stuff, but it also seems to me like with and I don't know, the only thing I can kind of reference what I'm kind of trying to say is like the whole TikTok brain phenomena. You know what I mean? Like people's minds these days, it's idiocracy, you know? Just dumb down, only focus on what's right in front of their face, what's penetrating their ears right there at that moment. And then as soon as it's gone, they forget about it. So, you know, I'm also very concerned that even though, you can look this shit up, is it even going to matter? Because what's being said right then, right now is what's only going to matter or be relevant to probably the majority of the people on this planet very soon.
And like, just the idea that guy was going to could have been our number 2. And what does he think of us? We belong under rocks. That's his view of me and you, is we belong under rocks. I think he belongs in Canada. He could go be governor up there, maybe. I think he'd make a great Canadian, right?
Vice Prime Minister.
Yeah, right.
He'd get to wear some real fancy clothes then, right?
Oh yeah, he get to put on the flower every, whatever they do their remembrance thing for World War II. He get to wear the flower. I'm sure he'd love that. He get to do all the pageantry. It's all way more performative up there. He'd have a great time. He'd love it. He could even learn to speak French. So Trump labeled the Mexican drug cartels a terrorist organization, which I'm a bit torn on. I would like to see the war on drugs wind down rather than wind up. But, at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing some warthogs take out some drug facilities or something like that over the border. That wouldn't be, that'd be some fun TV. I can deal with that. I don't mind a couple of terrorist organizations getting just blown off the face of the planet if it's kind of just a free and clear thing. But I don't think any of this shit's free and clear. So I do have worries about that. But I'll tell you who should be labeled as a terrorist organization: homeowners associations. Listen to this motherfucker. This guy's a fucking terrorist.
I'm not sure what your plan is, okay? But what I do know is the snow needs to be pushed. Got it? Do you know what time it is right now? It's 7:30 a.m. Do you know if you leave the snow on the driveway for longer than 15 minutes after it snows, sometimes there's a buffer between 15 and 20, you will get fined from the HOA. Okay?
No job.
Listen, I'm running for president this year. I'm trying to be a nice guy right now, but this is making me not a nice guy right now. So, listen, I'm going to push it right now. We have a storm coming in this afternoon. If it's not off your driveway within 15 minutes after it snows, you will be fined. I'm doing you a favor right now, okay? I expect to be compensated for my time and my fuel. It's getting ridiculous.
It's getting ridiculous. Holy shit. That guy is a fucking Democrat, and there's about 500 of him working in office buildings or working from home at what they should be. You know what I'm getting at. This fucking guy is a problem with our country right here. Kid, if you don't move the snow 15 minutes after it snows, there's another snowstorm coming the same fucking day. How the hell are you supposed to have a job? How are you supposed to go to school? I guess you just got to be on snow patrol all fucking day, or you got to pay a driver to sit at your fucking house and plow your driveway all day. That's fucking crazy. And when you look at the neighborhood, the lawns are all covered in snow, the trees, the houses. There's snow fucking everywhere except the driveways. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Where's that guy, an HOA president at?
I don't know. It didn't give us a state, but somewhere in the north, you know. It's just crazy. These fucking people.
I was hoping it was your HOA president.
Oh, that'd have been great. That'd have been great. And mine's no different. He's the asshole who left that fucking note about tolerance and how we used to help our neighbors. This same guy who tried to put a lien on my house for not pulling weeds quick enough. Like these guys are always, I'm such a nice guy. And like he'll go home, I went and helped people today and I'm the head of my neighborhood and blah, blah, blah. You're a piece of shit. Go get a fucking job, you loser.
But he expects to be compensated for his time and gas.
God. The worst mistake I made when I moved here was moving into an HOA. That will never happen again. Just make them terrorist organizations, blow them off the face of the earth. I'll give you the address to the guy. I'll even set up a meeting in the pole barn that they don't like. So you can just take that out, take them with it. I don't really care.
Dude, you know, that's my one stipulation on when and if I'm ever able to buy a house and property. That's my one like hard line is no HOA.
Yeah, I didn't. For some reason, like it didn't dawn on me. Like we had problems with our HOA in Southern California, but we never had problems with them in Northern California. Oh, actually, we did. Not us personally, but like one of our buddies had a house in an HOA. It was just a cookie cutter neighborhood, and they like built this really nice like awning and pathway with like a picket fence and shit like that. It looked really nice. HOA made him tear it down because it looked too nice.
Yeah. Yeah, you're you're making the rest of the neighborhood look like shit. You have to look equally shitty, so everything is shitty. You looking better makes everybody else look worse.
Yeah, and what drives me nuts about these people is every decision, every move they make is predicated on like real estate values. We have to keep the values of our homes up. It's like they just printed $20 trillion. You know, like how many trillion did they print during? There's nothing that you could ever do with your stupid little HOA that COVID didn't do for you. There's nothing you could ever do to raise your real estate values like they were just raised. Get over it. You're fine.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up and let people live their lives. There is no reason that idiot should have any say over how me or you live our lives. That's just crazy.
And that's a problem. Everything's all good and fine until
until that guy has actual power.
Yeah, or until, everything's good and fine. And then you're a hobbyist and you decide you want to pick up a project truck and it's parked in your driveway for a week because, you got to work 80 plus hours a week and you don't have time to get it moved in the shop or whatever the case may be. And then it's that one little
busybody
violation of their bullshit rules, and all of a sudden, you're just butting heads and you're at war with these psycho people that have absolutely nothing better to do.
You get that busybody who walks around the entire neighborhood with a clipboard and a notepad taking notes on all the violations. We had some cunt do that when I was first living here, and she wanted a security guard really bad. Like she wanted security, which is ridiculous. We live in Idaho. You can leave your doors locked here. Like
I got my security by the nightstand.
Yeah. And she was like walking around, like giving people's, this, you did that and you did that, blah, 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 blah. And she wanted to have the security people do code enforcement as well. So I went to her house and I took my notepad and I wrote down everything. And then I stuck it on her door and said, please take care of these violations. They're really bothering me. And I never heard from her again. Never saw her again either. She just stopped going.
Attaboy.
She could have died. She could have moved. She could have just got embarrassed. I don't really know. But haven't seen her again.
She got embarrassed to death.
Could have been, which I'm fine with. Do something that stupid, die of embarrassment. Shit happens, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's check in on some climate change, and then we'll get the fuck out of here.
The fuck does the Netherlands do every year? Oh, just bitch slap the ocean into submission and steal more land from the sea like a goddamn pirate. Back in the 14th century, rising sea levels should have swallowed this place whole, but instead, the Dutch said, fuck you, Poseidon, and expanded their territory by 18% over 700 years. Their biggest flex? The Afsluitdijk, built in 1932. a 32-kilometer-long fuck you wall that turned part of the goddamn sea into a freshwater lake. They drained the salty bullshit, let fresh water take over, and boom, new land, ready for farming, living, and probably more fucking bicycles. The Flevoland province, a.k.a. ocean floor turned real estate, is one of the biggest land grabs in history, about the size of fucking Paris. While most countries lose land to the sea, the Dutch are out here reverse drowning the ocean and making it their bitch. Follow Professor Histergasm for more fucking history videos.
Making this fucking bitch.
Oh, that was great, man.
That was great. This is the exact attitude that we should have towards climate change. Fuck that ocean. You try and come and take my land, I will send your ass packing. Look at my wall. Kiss my fucking ass. I'm going to make you my bitch. That was a great video. That was a really good video. There's some actual information in there. We can do things to mitigate sea level rise. And what? The 1400s? So we've been doing this for hundreds of years. Imagine that. And wouldn't you know it, Nolan? We've got a bunch of technology that they didn't have. We've even got artificial intelligence. We don't even have to use idiots. We can use artificial idiots. Really is something. Like, that's the exact attitude that you should have towards rising sea levels. I'm going to make you my bitch. We're going to make a new fucking place to live. We're going to send your ass packing, put it somewhere else. Do you think for a second that Miami is going to sink? Of course not. They're not going to let Miami sink. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They're going to
cocaine
do that.
Floats.
Yeah, they'll do that. And get high and float out in the middle of the ocean. Fuck this. We're out of here.